Hi, my name is Barb. I'm an instructor here at Laurie's Country Cottage, and I'm going to do a few classes this session. One of them that I'm going to talk about now is applique. It's for beginners. We're going to do it in two, it's one day, one full day, an orientation, and then one full day. In the morning of that full day, we'll set up your machines. Your machines will need to have a zigzag stitch and be able to be adjusted for length and width on your stitches. And if you have that on your machine, and most machines do, you can do a satin stitch. So in the morning, we'll do the machine setup. I'll teach you curves, corners, inside, outside, straight lines. We'll go through all the basics so that you feel comfortable using the satin stitch on your machine. And in the afternoon, I encourage you to bring a project. I find that most people that take this class usually have something tucked in the closet that isn't quite finished because it needs some applique. So bring that project in, and with my help, you can get it done in the afternoon, or at least get a good start and go home and finish it feeling like you know what you're doing. So that's the idea behind the machine applique. This is a sample of something that I've made that has the satin stitch. So it just, I don't know if this is true, but to me, the satin stitch was named because it should look like a little ribbon of satin going along the edge of your fabric. And that's the kind of thing we're going to be doing in class. I'm also going to be teaching a class called Perfect Endings, and I kind of invented this class because I saw a need for it in other classes I was teaching. We get to the end of a session on a certain quilt, and people have to take it home to maybe add the borders and do the quilting and the binding. There's not time to do that in class. And so people forget, and again, it goes into the closet, doesn't get finished. And this is a class to learn or relearn. I know you've probably all learned at one time how to do mitered corners and join your binding from the beginning to the end with a seam, hanging sleeves, two-color binding, like this one. Things that you would like to learn, would like to refresher on, and it's a day packed with information, but also you're making your own samples to take home. You're not just listening and watching me, you're doing the work yourself so that you remember when you go home how to do it. You have samples to take with you and notes, and hopefully you'll feel much more empowered when you finish. So these are my Kaleidoscope quilts. There are 3 of them. They're all a little different, but basically the same technique. So you can choose to do any one of them, and we'll work together throughout. This one is a regular hexie, a regular one-block wonder made entirely of hexies from this fabric. You can use any fabric you choose. This one behind me is another one-block wonder. It started with a panel and then built the hexies out from the panel to extend the colors. This one is a stack and whack made from this City Dreams fabric, and it's not hexagons, it's octagons, so it has 8 triangles in it, and a 45-degree ruler as opposed to a 60-degree ruler. But otherwise, the technique is pretty much the same. And at orientation, we'll talk about the pros and cons of each of them, and you can decide which one is right for you and find some fabric that suits your needs. Hope to see you in class. This is the quilt I'm using to teach Technique Academy. It's a class that's good for people who have taken the beginner classes and are ready for something a little more challenging. Lots of different techniques involved in this. We have an orientation followed by 7 full classes, so it's a long stretch. I try to make 2-week breaks between each one, so you have time to finish the blocks before we move on to another one. Lots of different blocks here. There's a Bargello, applique, a different kind of applique, English paper piecing, a New York Beauty. Anyway, lots of different, there's a Lone Star. Lots of different techniques to be found, and lots of fun and a pretty quilt when you're done. So I hope you join us for this.